When we were at the other house, we were doing a lot more welding at the time, and we needed a way to carry the long sticks without having to get cuts at the yard because they charge you $3 per cut or whatever. Which, sometimes by the time you do that, that's as much as the stick of angle. Anyway, so what we made was, my son put this together. We were looking at some of those hitch extenders and that kind of stuff, but we actually had this piece left over from a gate we built, and so we just made it out of that. A piece of scrap 2x2 square, and then a couple pieces of angle and stuff up there. And then he made this little, basically it's got J-hooks, J-bolts that hook underneath the bed there and clamp down. And then this one comes on top and presses forward, or downward pressure. So friction alone, you can shake the whole bed and everything, so it's not coming out of there. But then we also have this piece of angle going across here. We did that basically for sideways so it wouldn't tip, and try to turn or twist as much. Give it some more stability against the bed there. But yeah, it's gives you an extra 4 feet, and it'll shake the whole truck. It's on there tight, nothing's coming off. But we used to have the camper shell on here, and so we would just lay it there, lay it across the camper shell, fiberglass camper shell along the front, and then it would hang off a lot in the front here, which the last time we went there, they kind of said, no, we're not going to be able to carry it anymore. I think you have to have, like 16 feet of supported or something like that. I don't know what the rules were. So anyway, we're going to add to this now. Since we no longer have the camper shell, we're going to go ahead and just out of some 2x2s and a piece of 2x4 as the cross brace at the top. We're going to put just a small rack up here. Then up underneath your bumper, let me get some lights on. For the front, up underneath your bumper, there's 2 holes in the bumper. I'm not sure if you can see it right there. They're already in there, so all I had to do was drill through the plastic. We'll be using this plate from the dolly, from the lawn trailer that we converted and stole stuff off of here. Put the 2 holes in here, slide that up in there, and bolt it down when we want to use it. We'll weld up, and then 2 vertical ones, and then a couple of supports across, and then ever how tall we want it. That's what I'm fixing to do right now, is I'm going to use my laser level here, and I'm just going to lay it on the back of that, set it up there, and beam it up here. Then I'll just hold my tape measure down at the bumper and up and see how tall I need to make things. We made this, like I said, for the camper and so that it would rest right on top of the roofs and stuff. So I'm probably going to go ahead and put a 2x4 and screw it down back there on top of that to give it another 1.5 inch clearance. And then I'll make everything based off of that height. And then we'll see how it goes. So I'll be back. Right now I'm just going to kind of gather the wood. We may not even have it, so it may be a jump in time or whatever. But yeah, I'm going to get this plate drilled out for the front one here, and then we'll weld up the 2 verticals and a couple of crosses here to give it some support. When we're all done, I'll probably go get a 16-foot 2x4 or something to kind of put everything together so it doesn't shake and stuff as much. So, okay, so here's what I did. Got this hooked up like I told you. I put my level up there. It's 2 inches from the laser down. So I just got that all leveled off. Went up here and set my board where I want it. If you can see the laser on the camera, there it is. Then I just subtracted 2 inches to go down there, and then same in the front. I just held my tape measure up and got the measurement. It was 46, so the front ones we're going to make it 44 and get that done. But that's just how I did that to get it measured out. Now I'm just going to cut these out. They're just scraps we had in our bin, and I'm gonna cut it out and notch it. Okay, I've just got it dry fitted right now. I'm not going to actually glue it and screw it until I get the 2 bolts. I don't have to run a Tractor Supply to get those, and that way I can put it in, get it all squared up and stuff in the truck, and then I'll screw everything down. So I'm back. I didn't go to Tractor Supply yet. I've been messing. For one, I notched wrong. I always do that. I notched bottom where should top, so I was actually too high. I mark my height, and then that's where I wanted the top of the 2x4 to be. But then I did my markings and notching above that, so it was too high. So anyway, I just cut him all the way down and notched him. Now I don't have a snug fit like I wanted, but at least the weight's resting on here, and it'll be fine. So just remember, always mark. You know, I marked the top, that which was the height I wanted, but then I put my 2x4 to notch and notched up here. Wrong. I needed to notch here because I want the top. Anyway, so much for that. It's fixed. Next thing was all this junk down in here. I've finally figured out what I'm going to do. For one, I wanted to keep it squared up a little bit. So I'm just going to put this, screw it to this 2x4. And then that way I can just go back to the original and put a bolt right there. Just even a screw and a washer every time, but I'll probably get one of those little 1/4-inch inserts, stick it in here in this board, and then just get some, probably cut it from a piece of scrap that we have and make my own washer to fit over that with a 1/4-inch nut or a 1/4-inch bolt through there, and then just screw it down into that. That'll be plenty. It's not like it's got to be tight. It just needs to keep this thing from rocking. You know, all the weight's going to be supported by this. So you just want to figure out something. But anyway, I'm just going to glue and screw this to the 2x4 and then put my insert in there, and that'll be a 1/4-inch bolt there. And then of course up here I went all the way through, and I'll get a 3/8 inch, some washers, and stack the washers to fit over that, and then we'll just go through the board this way and right there, and that's it. Then I'll be done. Okay, so for my piece, when it comes against the pickup bed, there's some weld along the bottom here, so it kind of cock-ties it like that. So I'm just going to cut a little bit of the corner off, so that when I glue it to the board, it'll be nice and flush. Okay, so I'm back. Went and got some T-nuts and stuff finally. It's actually a couple days later, so I had to stop. But anyway, I had mark these so that I could put the T-nuts in on the back side, and then the 3/8 bolts up here. I'll show you what I'm going to do on that. But it doesn't have to be close because I just marked the U for the thing, so anywhere in there will work. Okay, got those. Now I just need to make the one for the top. So here's how I'm going to make this one. I'm just going to cut a piece of this off and put the T-nut inside it. That way when I tighten it, it'll catch in there. Like I was saying earlier, if I was to do this over again, I would notch the bottom of this, ever how deep the hole is here, and just set it down in there. Put the T-nut on the back side of the 2x4, and then I could just put a nut and washer through on the inside and bend that. probably would have been just as easy to do that now, but I already had all this rigged up, and I thought, well, what the heck, I'll just leave it like that. So, anyway, that's what I would do next time, is just cut the 2x4 so that it fits in here, rip it down to, you know, whatever it is, I think it's 3 inches, and slide it in here, put a bolt in the side, and that's it. So, all finished. But now I've already got everything and had these holes and stuff, so I'm just going to do it this way. Okay, there it is. All painted, installed. So now we've got that rack back here to here, and then just got to finish the one for the front, and he'll weld that up tonight and we'll put it on. And we measured the other day, so from this one all the way to the front bumper is exactly 20 feet. So we'll probably actually loosen this up and move it in a few inches. That way we have a little bit of stick out on each end for the 20-foot pieces. So we should be able to even get 24-foot pieces on here without a problem and carry them back. And it'll make it really easy for the forklift to load and everything else. Actually, I kind of like the way this turned out. So with it painted and stuff, it may not weather that bad. So until it gets weathered, we probably will just leave this one, and then we'll probably weld one up out of 1.5 inch square and make one that way. But works pretty good, pretty sturdy, so it should work fine.